Hi, I am Anna Maria Stagna and I am an archaeologist. I study the history and archaeology of rural areas. In our research group, we share the idea that the study of the past allows to understand the present and to contribute to the future. I would like to invite you to apply for an excellent pre-doctoral position in our doctoral program, CLOE, and to join the doctoral course in history, archaeology, and history of art, where you will find a very stimulating and interdisciplinary environment. The challenge of our project is to demonstrate how archaeology and history, beyond the role of heritage science, could contribute to address the present problem of rural areas. This is the bet of the Laboratory of Environmental Archaeology and History, the research group I coordinate. If you get the job, you will work with us and under my co-supervision. We will propose you to address one of the main topics of the study of rural and mountain areas, history and archaeology of the commons and collective ownership, their past, present and future, or landscape and heritage and their connection and the current process of heritization since the 19th century. During your PhD course, you will have the opportunity to have secondments in one of the academic and non-academic partners around Europe and Liguria. Mountain and rural sustainable development and conservation are problems at the center of the debate. The depopulation and abandonment of rural areas with their environmental and social consequences are a priority in the agenda of the national and European governments in the coming years. University of Genova aims at contributing to better respond to the needs of rural areas, and we aim to develop new approaches in terms of land management and territorial justice, promoting locally based and fair and sustainable development. We will do it thanks to the doctoral program CLOE, that is a project co-funded by the European Commission. Through 15 PhD researchers, we will develop new research paths to address rural and mountain sustainable development and conservation from historical, environmental and legal perspectives. We will approach the political and economic marginalization of rural communities and the loss of their rich cultural and natural heritage in their entire complexity, looking at the process of abandonment from an historical perspective.
The COVID emergency, highlighting the risk associated with population concentration in urban centers, is opening up new opportunities for rural areas. This is the time to critically reflect on current and past approaches to rural areas and provide new tools for planning a sustainable future for rural areas, which have to include their environmental and cultural conservation. If you are a young researcher and you want to contribute on it, please come and submit your project for the call for application. You will have the opportunity to develop your research project in a highly interdisciplinary environment, supervised by scholars deeply engaged with the study of rural and mountain areas. Here, you will join teams involved in different European Union projects focused on the marginalization of mountain areas, the living heritage of mountain regions, the conservation of biodiversity and natural heritage, and the possible measures to mitigate climate change and the environmental risks associated with it. Courses, workshops, seminars, and the joint collaborations between supervisors and students will allow building up the competencies and perspectives to reconstruct, recollect, and rethink the links and interconnections between the areas of knowledge around mountains. We'll focus on the diversity and recognition of local practices, habits, and lifestyles, the social and distributive implications of rural-urban migration and environmental risks. The training will be complemented with secondments in a network of other organizations, including other academic institutions, industry, NGOs, and the public sector.
Your PhD dissertation will allow to scientifically compare different perspectives and procedures, and to support the possible future planning of rural and mountain areas, considering and verifying their social, environmental, and cultural effects. Each PhD research will address one of the 4 closely related topics on which Chloe is focused: mountain and rural areas and heritization processes, mountain and rural conservation, cultural landscape and conflicts, coming back to the mountains and rural areas, mountain and rural areas and environmental risks. Research will focus on Liguria region, a perfect case study area. Liguria was precocious in the depopulation of mountains and in the abandonment of rural activities, as well as in the process of industrialization and deindustrialization. We're waiting for you to work on this project, which will allow to enter from a local perspective in the process of marginalization of rural and mountain areas, and to share new lights for their future planning in an European perspective.